Universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic.
The clear winner of the debate tonight. Let's make some noise one more time for President Joe Biden.
So we're going to see in this video as Joe Biden makes his speech after the debate, he gets his participation trophy from Joe Biden. And if you notice, she speaks to everybody in the crowd that's there attending like she's a preschool teacher. And watch how she talks to Joe. Freaking hilarious.
So didn't the president do a great job? Yes! Thank you. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Lie! Yes.
So some strategists and columnists and some people at this table are calling for Biden to be replaced on the ticket.
There was a slow start, but it was a strong finish. And what became very clear through the course of the night is that Joe Biden is fighting on behalf of the American people.
He was a very different person on the stage 4 years ago when you debated him. You must, I mean, that's certainly true, is it not?
I'm not going to spend all night with you talking about the last 90 minutes when I've been watching the last 3.5 years of performance.
Yeah, we all want him replaced. That's why I'm voting Trump 2024. Also, Kamala, let me give you a little bit of insight. We've all been watching him 3.5 years. He's horrible. Bye-bye, Joe. He's been biding his time long enough.
You may want to think about Pete Buttigieg, who I'm not sure if this country is ready for a gay president, but I think he's certainly qualified. And Gavin Newsom, again, qualified, is the governor, runs one of the largest economies in the world. But again,
I think people think of him as too liberal, don't you?
I don't think so. I think he's ready. I think any of those people are ready.
So this entire conversation of replacing Joe Biden, I don't think is feasible unless Joe Biden himself decides to
what about
get
Jill?
out of the...
How much influence will Jill have on him?
I hope that the people that love him would step in, because I guarantee if that was someone I loved, I'd be up in his ear now. You gave him a chance. He deserved that reverence. He was the incumbent president. He was not primaried, but the voters have spoken on Donald Trump. As sad as that is, they have spoken. It would be discounting their votes for anyone to retreat him now. But I think the problem here is even Governor... If they were to pull back on Biden is different. He wasn't primaried. Donald Trump was primaried. They had other options and they chose him, and that's very sad. What you said, Sonny, about the reason you'd vote for him, like, I know 3.5 years, that's what all of us who would vote for him would say. The problem here are those people that are wavering, that are dissatisfied, that are unhappy. Don't say, don't look at that debate. No, that is not helpful. And at this point, if the Democratic voice pieces do not pivot, they will lose in November.
Look at all of that.
But again, this isn't about decided voters. This is the undecided voters who will determine this election. I don't know people under 30 who are going to turn out for either candidate after last night. I was hearing from people who are horrified. They were embarrassed by it. It got into like their golf handicaps and this like pissing match between octogenarians. It's not right. It's beneath us as a nation. And listen, Joe Biden is a good man. I think he loves this country. I think he's a patriot. I think
he's not a felon.
The history books.
I love when people say, well, he's not a felon. What, you mean with that sham trial y'all did? You know, Jesus had one of those, and that's why he was killed and hung and crucified. This is just on a much smaller scale, because you can't stand righteousness. And our economy was doing so good. Our country was doing so good with Trump in office. So, facts are facts. That's why people are voting the way they are.
Will remember him well if he passes the baton. If he stays in, and he will lose to Donald Trump. He's losing in every battleground poll. Give it 2 weeks till people process this debate. He will be plummeting. You know, he risks turning this country over to Donald Trump.
Joy. Yeah, I can relate to having a cold. I have a negative COVID test and a slight cold as well. So I understand not feeling well. And, you know, obviously Joe Biden comes in with certain deficits. He has a stutter. You know, it is more difficult for him to communicate for that reason. So there's a lot to mitigate the way that he speaks, and you can understand it. And we've observed him for a long time. That said, I too was on the phone throughout much of the debate with Obama world people, with Democrats, with people who are political operatives, with campaign operatives. My phone really never stopped buzzing throughout. And the universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic. The people who were texting with me were very concerned about President Biden seeming extremely feeble, seeming extremely weak. And, you know, I'll just reiterate what I said earlier. President Biden had one job tonight, and it was one primary job. And yes, it was to litigate Donald Trump's, you know, criminality and all of those things. But he had to settle his own party. He needed to settle Democrats. Democrats, you know, they always talk about Democrats are bedwetters and Democrats are always panicking. Yes, Democrats are always panicking. They're always scared, right? They're always thinking they're going to lose. Like, Democrats are very pessimistic. This is just neurotic. Who they are. They're neurotic. But Joe Biden's job was to reassure them tonight. His job was to calm his party, to make them feel that, yes, I can do this. I have 4 more years in me. I have the ability and the stamina and the strength to do 4 more years. He did not do that. He did the opposite of that. He made them more panicked. The people who were texting me were even more panicked. They actually expected it to be better than it was. And now they're in I won't say a full-fledged panic, but it's getting there.
And some within your own party are wondering if President Biden should even step aside. What do you say to that?
Listen, first of all, what we saw tonight is the president making a very clear contrast with Donald Trump on all of the issues that matter to the American people. Yes, there was a slow start, but it was a strong finish.
I mean, the president's performance tonight clearly was disappointing for his supporters. CNN is reporting Democratic lawmakers watching the debate were worried about the president's performance. One said it was a disaster. Another called it a train wreck. Those are Democrats especially worried that Biden did not punch back. Excuse me. Vice President Biden 4 years ago, and he was a very different person on the stage 4 years ago when you debated him. You must, I mean, that's certainly true, is it not? This was a debate that your campaign wanted. You pushed for this debate at this moment. Obviously, I mean, you can't honestly say, I mean, can you say that you are not concerned at all having watched the president's performance tonight?
It was a slow start. That's obvious to everyone. I'm not going to debate that point.
We're here outside the first presidential debate of 2024 between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And why so?
Because that's the security measure that's put out by the Secret Service. So.
What could Joe Biden say or Donald Trump do to win the vote of the people here in America?
To be honest, there's nothing either one of them can say, because hands down, I pretty much think Donald Trump has already got America behind him, because Joe Biden really hasn't been doing much within the last 4 years.
If you could ask Joe Biden one question, what would your question be?
Why are you running again?
And what do you think you'd say?
He'd stand there and smile until somebody walks him off stage.
And who will you be voting for in 2024?
Trump, for sure.
Who do you got, Trump or Biden?
I got Trump going. I got Trump all the way.
What do you think Donald Trump has to do to win the debate?
He got to keep it a bean. He got to be himself, and don't talk crazy, because I feel like that's what a lot of Americans hate him for, because he just talk crazy at the mouth and whatnot. But I feel like if he go in there on business and attack Biden, because, you know, Biden can't stand up straight. You know, he can't even stand up straight. He can't talk nothing for real. He got to go in there and just be himself, and hit on the points that we are struggling with: the economy, inflation, the war in Ukraine, stuff like that.
And what do you like so much about Donald Trump?
He's a regular Joe. He's just like us. He's just like us. He's a regular American. He's not a politician. Feels like he really cares about American people. Whereas Biden, you know what I'm saying? Biden just a teleprompter-ass person.
Yeah, what do you think about Joe Biden?
I don't like him.
Myself.
I don't got nothing to say nice about him. My mom said if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing about him.
Obviously, you're out here today at the debate, and with the sign that says "Lock Biden Up." What do you think the American people want today here at the debate?
Well, I think we need to have some common sense come out of all of this. Nobody likes what's going on with Biden on any.
Who are you guys going to be voting for?
I'm going to be voting for Trump. I'm going to be honest.
I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So
you have